Hello and welcome to 10 Minute Takes. We are Jim and Sam, and this is the show where we like to give you our rating first, and then we like to talk about the things that we did and did not like about the movie we just saw. Today's movie is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. So Sam, you ready to give our rating?
Yes.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
See it.
The big question for me, though, is this the best Spider-Man movie yet?
That seems like a lot to ask.
It is, because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. But I really need to talk about it. I need to get my feelings out. And then at the end, I think I'll be able to decide if this is
Movie
the best
therapy.
Spider-Man story that has...
Movie therapy. That would be a cool
Movie
name.
therapy.
Movie therapy. That actually sounds
New
like
title.
a cool... It sounds like
New
a cool name. Movie therapy.
So Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. This is an animated movie from Sony Pictures, written by Phil Lord. I can't remember who the other writing partner was on it. Unfortunately, it was also produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. You might know Phil Lord and Chris Miller from doing movies like the Lego Movie, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. They were on Han Solo, the Solo film, for a little bit, and then they made a departure from that. And now they've produced this film. They kind of produced this film alongside of them directing Solo, even though they didn't get this directing credit for Solo. But anyways, you can immediately tell from the opening scenes, the opening shots of this film have Phil Lord and Chris Miller stamp all over it. Even though they did not direct this movie, it has the same energy that they bring to all of their films. So Sam, there's a lot to unpack with this film. This is going to be a spoilers review. Anyway, there's going to be a spoilers talk, review, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I just want to get off my chest when talking about this, if you haven't seen the film, so be warned, there will be spoilers if you haven't seen the film. I didn't know that the Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Miles' world was alive and well when the film started.
What do you mean?
Well, in the trailers, I thought he was dead from the beginning.
Oh,
I didn't know. And Miles' Spider-Man is Chris Pine. I never realized how much I wanted Chris Pine to be Spider-Man until I heard Chris Pine started voicing Spider-Man. I was like, holy crap, that's Chris Pine as Spider-Man. That's not Jake Johnson. Can we have a good live-action Chris Pine Spider-Man, please?
Please and thank you.
But there's so much energy packed in this film, from the opening scenes to the battle sequences to even just like little moments, like when they're just running, you see like the little like comic panel thing I pop up from their fingertips, like touching something, you hear like click clack.
This is the coolest animation movie I've ever seen.
Hands
down. This is, if every animation was like this, I could be okay with that. Like if this was the next wave of animations, I'd be cool. Even though I get that it was comic, it was spectacular. It blew my mind. I
love the textures they put into the picture. Almost look like it was like canvas in a way. Like you see bumps in it.
It was like looking into a comic book.
It is essentially
the pages in the comic book.
Yeah, this movie is essentially a comic book brought to life.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. The Miles character I thought was fantastic. This might be one of my favorite portrayals of the Spider-Man character in the films.
Of Miles himself?
Miles hasn't been in any other films, but so it's always been Peter as Spider-Man, but now it's Miles as Spider-Man in this one. And between Peter as Spider-Man and as Miles as Spider-Man, this might be my favorite portrayal of the Spider-Man character. And I liked how they tied in the other Spider-Man into this story with the multiverse.
Now, are all of those Spider-Man women that have their own comics?
Yeah.
Okay, so the pig has one.
I don't know if he has his own comic, but he's been in Spider-Man comic books.
Oh, okay.
He made his first appearance in the 80s.
I was just curious. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Didn't know that.
Spider-Ham, I believe is what he's called.
He was funny.
He was funny. John Mulaney. He was John Mulaney.
Well,
John Mulaney's a funny guy.
John Mulaney is funny.
So, I absolutely loved the Miles character. What did you think of Miles in this?
Miles was phenomenal. I think that just everything about him, the voice, his voice was great. He was a fun character to watch. He was really cool to watch. And there was a part that he's trying to talk with Gwen. And, like, everything that he's talking about in his head is just, like, every teenager's worst nightmare. And the way he's talking, why is my thought so loud?
I like how,
just touch her
when he was
on the shoulder. And he's like, what does he say?
Hey.
Hi. Hey.
Hey.
It's so great. Just like everything. If I was a high school teacher, I could just like picture all of these kids with like little pop-ups like, oh my God. Well, this like high school anxiety.
Yeah, and like as he's thinking, you get like little text boxes popping up, like animating what he's thinking.
Yeah.
It's like, why are my thoughts so loud? And you see like a little comic panel pop up, like saying, why are my thoughts so loud?
He's like, say something, act stupid. Don't act that stupid.
That was great.
Act dumb. Don't act that dumb. It was great.
The other thing that I liked is that when we were first introduced to Miles Morales' Spider-Man, they reference pretty much every version of Spider-Man that's been in the live-action movies. So, like, they reference Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. There's one that specifically they make fun of the dance sequence from Spider-Man 3. Yeah, and this was a thing.
Hey.
And then he closes it out and goes, yeah, we don't really talk about that, though.
Peter B. Parker. Let's talk about Peter B. Parker for a second.
Now, Peter B. Parker is the alternate version of Spider-Man. That is the multiverse.
He was funny.
He was funny.
Great. Him crying in the shower. I could watch that all day. That was fantastic.
He was pretty much
hilarious.
The version of Peter Parker if everything sort of went wrong in Peter Parker's life. He lost MJ. It looked like he lost his job. I think it's funny when he's like, yeah, and then we separated. But I took it like a champ. And he's like unloading boxes in an apartment. And then a smash cuts to him in the Spider-Man suit crying in the shower.
He's like on the bed. He's like, and then he's like in the shower. And then he's like sitting on the bed eating pizza. And then he gets zipped away into another universe.
I loved his dynamic with Miles. And having him be a loser Peter Parker played really well into narrative of Miles wanting to be the new Spider-Man. But wanting someone to teach him. So when he meets this Spider-Man from the alternate dimension, he's not interested. The Peter B. Parker is not interested in training a younger Spider-Man. Because he's essentially a loser and a loner. And you want no part of it.
Yeah.
And that played into the narrative to developing their relationship. So you needed Peter Parker.
Getting Peter B. Parker stamina back and energy back to wanting to go back to his universe and make things right.
Yeah, to want him to be a better Spider-Man, to be a better person.
Yeah, and I think that's what it really was with the internal person that he wanted to be.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times in this film I got goosebumps. Like, I lost count. I probably had like 4 or 5 moments in this film that gave me goosebumps.
Oh, the girl next to me probably had...
Oh, she was losing her mind.
She was losing her shit. She was going psycho. She thought it was the greatest movie she has ever seen.
This is going to play. There's so much nuance and so many Easter eggs put into this from the Spider-Man world. Or if you're a big-time Spider-Man fan,
you're a die-hard Spider-Man. You're going to be screaming in this.
Yeah, you're going to lose your minds. They really
screaming.
They paid great detail and attention to the world of Spider-Man while maintaining the heart of a great narrative. Nothing ever got in the way of the story they were trying to tell. And they crammed as much nuance to the Spider-Man world as they could into this, and they didn't sacrifice anything for it. One of my other favorite aspects of this film was the relationship between Miles and his dad.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
Their relationship was fantastic. We've seen it in the trailers. There's that clip where the dad drops him off in the police car. He's like, "I love you, Miles," and Miles is like, "I know, Dad."
Tell me you love me.
Say it.
Say it.
I'm not going anywhere.
Such a dad moment.
I love you, Dad. Say it.
I love you.
Copy. We already talked about the style, which was absolutely fantastic. The film.
What about the uncle? Oh, we were talking about that after the movie. The uncle and every time his uncle moved in his suit, that like.
The music in this film is amazing. Both the original score and the actual soundtrack. Like the actual music they made for it outside of the score was really, really good. I don't feel like the songs ever got in the way of the score, and I don't feel like the score ever got in the way of the songs. And I feel like there's, at some points, they actually married the two together to that perfectly just perfect synchronization between the two. Specifically, one of my favorite scenes, one of the goosebump scenes for me, is when Miles puts on the black costume Spider-Man suit, and he goes web swinging through the city, and it's like a hip-hop song that's playing alongside the orchestral score. And the hair is just all over my arms, just stood straight up. It was I want to say it was almost like borderline euphoric when it was happening, but it's just like, it's such a great moment, but this film is filled with moments like that.
This film hits you with emotions. It hits you with excitement. It's
You said
just
you
a lot
cried.
Yeah, but it doesn't take much for me to cry in a movie nowadays. Like,
What scene did it for you?
when his dad's trying to talk to him after his uncle dies, and he's talking through.
Oh, I saw him through the door.
Talking through the door, and he's like stuck in his
He's webbed down to the chair and he can't talk.
web chair, and he was saying that he loved him and he can do what he wants to do and what he needs to do, and that was such a growth for his dad too.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
It was magical.
Now the scene leading up to that, which was the scene with the Prowler. Now, while I thought the Prowler plot of the story was predictable, it was executed so well that I didn't mind that I actually saw the reveal of the Prowler coming. And in fact, this is another thing that Phil Lord and Chris Miller do, was that they make someone in the film that is an acquaintance or related to the hero, and it turns them into a villain. They've done it in the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies. I believe that was also something in the Lego movie. They did it with Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, but it was really, really well done. And the actual end of that subplot was also incredibly effective, because it led into what you're talking about with the dad talking to Miles at the door. Mm-hmm. And the Uncle Aaron has passed away because
he sacrificed himself for his nephew.
Which was really, really sad.
Yes, but meaningful.
Very,
sad
it was
in a
very
meaningful way. Obviously.
The voice acting in this movie is also spectacular.
Who knew that the guy who voiced, what's his name? Peter B. Parker.
Jake Johnson.
I am a huge fan of him. Ever since New Girl. New Girl and all of his movies. Every movie that he has been in, he's been hilarious. Even the movie Tag.
Yeah, he was good.
He was spectacular. Like, he is a great actor. But anyways, all of them are great. I have a question for you. If out of all of the Spider-Mans, do you think they were all needed? Like, the Spider-Man from the future, the Spider-Girl.
No, I don't think they were all needed.
Pig,
but they all added a flavor.
They added a flavor. What do you think of the 1935 Spider-Man?
Nicolas Cage was great.
Nicolas Cage was hilarious.
I like it when he like attacks a thug or something when they're trying to like infiltrate a building. He goes, "Now don't breathe," because he's like so dark and noir. Everyone else is like knocking people out, but he grabs someone, like takes them to a corner. He's like, "Now you don't breathe," because he's like being all like brooding and dramatic.
He's like,
and I also like that
he can't. Taking this cube with me.
I like that he can't see color.
But he's black and white.
I know he's black and white, so he can't see color. Oh. So he has like the Rubik's Cube. He's trying to solve the Rubik's Cube. He's like, "This is purple." They're like, "No, that's not purple." He's like, in like every color he's got seen. They're like, "Nope, that's not on that color." He's like, "I don't know what this is, but I'm taking it into my world."
I think my favorite part with 1935 Spider-Man was when they were all talking about how they lost somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, for me it was Uncle Ben. For me it was Uncle Benjamin." I laughed so hard. I was like, "Aw, 1935 Spider-Man."
Yeah, I like that the animation style. Like you said, the noir Spider-Man was black and white. Mm-hmm. The little Japanese girl and her robot looked like an anime. The pig looked like something from a Looney Tunes cartoon.
I know. I said it before, and I think that one of the things that really captivated me about this film is that every time you found a new Spider-Man, they gave a little backstory.
Oh, that was great.
That was magical. Like, you got a little taste of who they are at home, and it was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, every time we're introduced to a new Spider-Man, we get that Spider-Man's origin story. They spend probably, I want to say it's maybe 1 to 2 minutes on each.
Which origin story is your favorite?
It's got to be the original, the very first one, the Chris Pine Spider-Man. Because I'm a big fan of the live-action film, so his origin story is essentially the films, all the live-action films. So we see him fighting the Goblin, Doc Ock.
Yeah.
They reference Spider-Man 3. I don't think we actually see Venom in this film. They also
see Venom, but we didn't see Venom.
We also referenced the Amazing Spider-Man movies as well in his origin story. But it was also just Chris Pine as Spider-Man, which just...
You obviously have a love relationship, a romance with him, so we need to get him on board, too. I don't know. I'd have to say that I actually really enjoyed the 1935 backstory. I could do a movie of all black and white Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. I will have to say, Spider-Gwen, I mean... Her outfit
was awesome. We
was
saw so many
amazing.
people. I saw more cosplays of Spider-Man, of Spider-Gwen this weekend than I saw of any other Spider-Man.
Her outfit is spectacular. Like, I want
Yeah,
it.
her outfit's cool.
I want it.
The black and white.
Like, I don't know which one I want more. Hers or the girl in Aquaman with the green suit. The green suit, at least, is more doable. I feel like I could get that somewhere, but
Yeah.
I think Spidey Gwen might be a little more challenging.
I mean, you can buy it, and it's not hard to come by.
I feel like the other one would be cheaper, though.
The other thing that I liked about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is that they made the villain, who's Kingpin? Kingpin's the villain. They made him sympathetic. His thing just wasn't like a notorious, I want to be a bad guy plot. He wants to get his family back. He lost his family, and he wants to pull his wife and son from another universe to get them back into his worlds.
Yeah, but he was a bad guy before that.
Yeah, he was, and Spider-Man was trying to stop him, but the overarching plot just wasn't, I want to end the world. It was a personal story for the Kingpin, and I loved that touch about it.
You said something about Dr. Oct.
But I loved the reveal. That was another Goosebumps moment when the doctor, when the one Spider-Man's like, oh, what's your name? He goes, oh, my name's Dr. Octavius. And it's like, it took me a second. I'm like, Octavius, wait a second. Why do I know that? And all of a sudden you see the arms come out and you're like, no, what?
The girl next to me lost her marbles.
Because it was such a surprise.
It was a surprise, even for me. Like, I knew who that was. Now that I play the Spider-Man game, I think I really got to understand all of the bad guys in here because they were all kind of the same, which was kind of cool to me that I actually understood it, which is great. I love when I understand things.
That gave me that reveal and that whole sequence, like from when we meet Octavius to the battle in the forest to meeting Spider-Gwen, was just one big Goosebumps sequence for me. It was awesome. I love it when there's
so much about this film.
I love it when Spider-Man and Miles are swinging in the forest, and Miles got his own web shooter, and the other one's got the left, and they're swinging in unison together. What was your favorite Spider-Man of the group?
Spidey Gwen.
Spider-Gwen?
Yeah, Spider-Gwen. I don't know if I liked her the best or I just liked her outfit. I think out
She
of
was
all
cool.
of them,
She was badass.
She was amazing. And I don't know. I have a soft spot for all the women badass.
Yeah.
Kick butters. I don't know how to say it, but I don't know. I want to do that now.
For me, I'm going to cheat. For me, it's Spider-Man 2099. You're pointing at me? No, I was pointing at you. You're pointing at me. I was pointing at you first. That whole meme thing at the end, that whole segment. And the fact that they got Oscar Isaac to voice that guy, to voice Miguel, that's huge. That makes me think that he's going to have a bigger part in future films if they do future films.
I will have to say that my favorite Spider-Man was not Spider-Gwen. It was Spider B. Parker.
Peter B. Parker? Peter B. Parker.
Spider B. Parker. Peter B. Parker. I can't differentiate the Chris Pine Parker or the other Parker, and then the other Parker, and then Nicolas Cage Parker. They were all pretty good.
They're all good. Yeah. But outside of Miguel, I mean, I love the whole meme thing because I'm familiar with the meme, the pointing. They're sitting there yelling at each other.
I always saw the meme, but I had no idea that was why. So like when I saw that, I was like, why have I seen this a million times? And then you said something at the end, and I was like, oh, that's where that came from. I just thought that somebody put that together.
Yeah. I also did get goosebumps when Jake Johnson or the Peter B. Parker leaves Miles tied up to the chair, and it's just a leap of faith. And then after he talks to the dad, he kind of like relaxes, and then he gets his powers, and he's able to snap the web.
He's able to
he just realizes
make it on command.
He just relaxes, and he realizes in his relaxed state he can just command his powers, and he electrocutes the web and gets out.
Now all the Spider-Man, all the Spidey people in the world of universe and Marvel, do they all have that unique power?
I'm not familiar with Miles in the comics. I don't know if him turning invisible is a real power that he has. I don't know if he can actually conjure electricity as well.
Yeah, but all the other... You know what I will say? The future girl Spider-Man, when the spider came out of the robot, I was like, oh... I was like, the spider was controlling it. It was exciting. All right. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's nothing about this film that I didn't like.
Oh yeah. Is there anything about this film you didn't like?
No, I mean, I just
No
want
music
to say the
nitpick?
final action set piece inside of the Collider multiverse was jaw-dropping. Probably one of the most stunning pieces of animation I've ever seen.
The whole thing was amazing.
The final fight between Miles Morales and the Kingpin was absolutely spectacular. I was losing my mind during that whole sequence.
Yeah.
Another Goosebumps moment is when they're trying to shut the Collider down, and then all of a sudden you see the Octavius like punching herself with the hands, and
Oh yeah.
you're like, Miles! And yeah, everyone else is like, hey, what? Like all the other Spider-Men are like, what's going on? Why is she doing that? And then Miles reveals himself.
Yeah.
So amazing. Also, Miles with his dad at the end.
I love you.
Hey, good job there, sir. Great policing there. He goes, yeah. It's like we may not agree with our ways, Spider-Man, but we might be able to get along. He's like, I agree with you. Awesome job. And then like he gives him a hug. He goes, all right, I'm out of here. Love you. And then Dad's like, yeah, okay, wait, what?
I wonder if he's gonna figure out that Miles is Spider-Man. I mean, who else is gonna say I love you?
I would assume that's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. So that's it for us on this episode. We absolutely love this film. What did you think? To answer my question from earlier, is this the best Spider-Man movie yet? I think it is. I think I gotta say yes. It probably, everything from the script to the acting to the homages, it's all top notch. Phil Lord, Chris Miller, and everyone involved with this film just absolutely knocked it out of the park. While I do like Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man 2 are probably tied for my favorite Spider-Man live action films, this just might top it as what I think it might be the best Spider-Man story told in a film, whether live action or animation, that we have ever had. I hope this is successful because I want more of this franchise.
I want more of this franchise. I want more of that visual.
All right, so that's it for us. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and let us know what you thought of this film. And as always, thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. See you next time.